Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. So today we're starting a little early. I would love to connect with you. And today I want to talk about the third body. We've been working progressively on the different dimensional planes this week, particularly pertaining to the holographic projection of the chakra system. And today we're going to be working on the third chakra, the center core chakra. This is the center of our emotional body. So we're going to be discussing empowerment, disempowerment, and all of the different emotions that are creating blockages in our ability to create emotional balance. And the emotional balance is actually the juice and life force that feeds into our ability to manifest and to create. So we're going to be taking a look at where we are blocked in those areas and take a look at that. So when we are working with the solar plexus, the primary blockage is a feeling of constant disempowerment. And the root emotions that fuel into that feeling of disempowerment are primarily feelings of helplessness, unworthiness, not good enough. So, all of these feelings of, for example, unworthiness create over time these belief systems, whether as a child we were told that we were unworthy or made to feel unworthy, actually create a very deep disconnect between how we feel about ourselves naturally and how we see ourselves in our environments. And over time, we create an anger that begins to arise from that disconnect and the ability of not being able to understand our intuitive connection to ourself and our source and all that we know intuitively and what the world is telling us outside of us. So all of this constant disconnect that we can experience at a young age going into our adulthood creates an incredible amount of disassociative emotions, expressions, actions, and all kinds of events that kind of occur as a result of that. So, all of this disconnect causes a tremendous amount of anger. And of course, our bodies that are constant state of anger and resistance to feeling that begin to store in the back of the body. Now, the solar plexus, as in all the chakras, is a double-sided vortex. The double-sided vortex, the back side of the chakra, is where usually aspects of ourselves that we don't want to see or aspects of ourselves that we are hidden from us and that are not ready to surface are usually stored in the back part of the body. So all along the spine, people that are having back problems or issues with their recycling system and elimination systems of the body, like the intestines and the stomach, the kidneys, all of these, the pancreas, all of these systems that are there to clean and purify the system become stagnant because these emotions are primarily releasing really, really toxic chemicals into the body, a lot of stress, anxiety, cortisol that begins to create inflammation in the body. And so this is where we really want to take note of that because the physical body becomes incredibly heavy emotionally, physically, and energetically. And the primary aspect that begins to become affected, yesterday we looked at how the sacral is connected to the heart, but one of the aspects that becomes most affected when we have solar plexus problems is our crown chakra, which is the center of manifestation and creation, meaning that it feels incredibly difficult to manifest things into our life because of this very profound belief that not only are we unworthy, incapable, but we are completely helpless and there is nothing that we see within our perception or that the world is showing us that allows us to feel safe, comforted in our actions, in our movements. So the second part of the body that mostly gets affected by these programs and blockages in the solar plexus, aside from your manifestation, is the right side of the body. And the right side of the body is action, movement. So anytime, and this is the masculine, this is the divine masculine, this is the way that we perceived masculine relationships in our life from our paternal lineage all the way down to the way that we feel about our paternal aspects, but masculine aspects, which are, having a balance, embodying movement, embodying action, having congruency between the intuition, trusting that intuition, and then acting on that intuition. All of these systems of the mind and body become distorted. and they are fueled by fear and by anger. And a lot of times, the anger is sometimes because we deal with shame and guilt, which we talked about yesterday. Um, a lot of times we don't feel worthy of feeling our emotions. And so what happens is that we suppress the anger. We don't even want to acknowledge it time and time again until it accumulates and accumulates. And as soon as something happens, either we're always angry or something hits us in the right spot in which we end up becoming explosive, and we end up having these explosive expressions of anger and frustration and helplessness. So the solar plexus is actually the most important aspect of the human when they are trying to create and manifest and create things in their life, because this is the one that is the major blockage in not allowing the human to create and to move forward in those actions. It's also where the major blockage occurs in the body, where the divine infinite connects with the physical. Because a lot of times people that have suppressed emotions or are unaware of the emotions that are living within the solar plexus, storing it over time literally solidifies in the etheric body like a blockage and doesn't allow the life force to move through the meridian lines of the physical body. This creates a lot of problems in the lower parts of the body, everything from sexual issues to immune system issues connecting with the solar plexus, and emotional issues primarily affect the endocrine system and the major organs in the body, which is where we become ill in many different aspects. People can develop cancers, people can develop a lot of diseases in the internal organs that are the primary function. And the liver is one of the first organs that are primarily affected by this kind of, stagnation of information, of emotional information. So the liver cannot process, cannot clean, cannot detox from the body all of these heavy stress emotions that we are filling the body with chemically, psychologically, mentally, which are a vibrational expression. And our vibrational expression completely turns into a heavy, slower moving wavelength. So, in order to create higher vibration, in order to become the light body, the idea is that we begin to unpack all of these heavy programs in the lower realms that allow us to raise the vibrational frequency of what we're expressing from these first three layers into a wavelength that's higher. And how that occurs is the congruency and the alignment within the intent, the intuitive body, and of course, the non physical aspect of ourselves, and the physical, which is the action, the movement, the one that actually creates and manifests into the physical. So these two have to be in alignment. And that is the representation of, since the ancient times, the union, the marriage that occurs between the feminine and the masculine. When there is a divorce between the self, a divorce between our most intimate assets, a divorce between the feminine and masculine, this is where we begin to have chaos and conflict and disconnect with the higher self. And it becomes nearly impossible, especially during challenging times that we're experiencing now, which are magnifying the lower parts that have not been processed over the past, 5, 6 years, are really becoming magnified. And so all of these little tiny things that can happen that trigger us now become a really huge blockage that kinds of, some people, some empaths, it takes them out for weeks at a time, where they go into these cycles of depression and stagnation and heavy, overwhelming emotions that they feel they cannot shake. And one of the things that is really happening at this time is a want to kind of go deeper into the sleep in order, or the hypnosis, in order to disconnect from the higher self. So we need to become aware that this is actually a part of the mass mind control that is occurring in the world, in the subconscious mind, that is affected through the fear aspect of the own human body, utilized in order to limit its ability to embody its highest expression. So any time that some of you might be feeling that, it feels really good to disconnect from the higher self, it feels really good to just go back into that sleep, I want you to really take note of that, because I'm really seeing a trend of that over the past 6 months. And even in my own experience last year, I went through that last year where it just feels really difficult to connect with the higher aspects of yourself. And all of us are going through ebb and flow of evolution, ebb and flow of consciousness. So it's not that it's right or wrong, but just becoming aware of when you feel that you're going through these ebbs and flows and being prepared to create a really compassionate, safe container for yourself in those times. And what that means is that there's healing that needs to be done. Anytime that we feel that it's difficult to connect with the higher self, there is healing that needs to be done. And some of us that are here have been working for a very long time, and you might feel that you've done everything possible and you're done, you're almost enlightened. But I assure you that any times that we begin to feel heaviness in our manifestation, in our movement, it is an invitation to do some of this healing work. So today, you and I are going to be working on the solar plexus, and we're going to be working with this any heavy emotions that reside in that space, any programs around disempowerment for men, for women, and all of the storylines that we are kind of cycling through as a collective in order to help kind of deconstruct those and gently allow ourselves to create a foundation in which we can begin to feel empowered, congruent, whole. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I want to really connect with everyone that's here today. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Love you so much. RR2, Divine Energy, hello. JF, hello. Mama Ren, welcome. Mary Ellen, so happy you made it. Ellen Perkins, hello here from Utah. Hello, Utah. P. JP Official TVE. Wow. Hey, welcome. My chakra literally reminded me to check if Geraldine is streaming. That's awesome. Love to be talking with those chakras. That's incredible. Lynette Perkins says, I'm blocked from any kind of motivation except working. I've learned I've had to keep working or be homeless. That is very interesting. This is a trend that I am seeing here collectively. So when I see trends like this, I mean, and it's not just a few couple of people, it's a lot of people that are coming with the same problem over the past 6 months. And I think what's occurring is that a couple things are occurring. Number one, we're being called to look at what our higher purpose is and to really let go of the parts of us that are not in alignment with either the careers, the relationships, the places that we're living in that are no longer congruent with our journey, with our work. And most likely, if we don't make the choice consciously, something will abruptly change or it will become so incredibly triggering that we will have to leave eventually. So, my suggestion, if you're experiencing a lot of resistance in those areas, is to gently begin to prepare yourself intuitively. What is it that you need to heal in you that is limiting taking that next step into your higher purpose? Is the higher purpose staying in that job but changing our emotions? Or is the step maybe departing from that job and finding something else that's more constructive and congruent with what we're doing? Whatever it is, having a good conversation about why we are in a state of resistance. In this time, you do not want to be in a state of resistance. Resistance is magnified tenfold. So as soon as we begin to feel that resistance, begin to nurture yourself in coming into a gentle surrender with the emotions and supporting those emotions, identifying the emotions that arise as we feel fearful in those moments of surrender, because that will really be long-lasting transformation that will help you in the next couple of years. Anyway, thank you so much. Yes, you're absolutely right. JP Official, the effect of capitalism. That's not good for one's chakra. That's not good at all. You got it right, but we're all dealing with that. So how can we create a new society? This is something that all of us, that are thinking ahead, that are kind of creators, really need to get together and kind of begin to plan, what does the new world look like? What does this new kind of economy, this new kind of society looks like, and begin to take those steps. Been having bad stomach pain, and this is not normal. There you go, Lynette. So I'm so sorry you're experiencing that, but that is the physical speaking to you, letting you know that something is up and we need to address that. And of course, that is the emotional body. So hopefully today's practice will help. Alina says, hello, hello. So happy to have you here, Alina. I have Who else do I have here? Cedric, so good to see you, Cedric. Love it when he's here. Michael Schmidt, so wonderful to see you, Michael. Welcome. One love. Anusha, hi, Anushi. So good to see you. Hello. Your meditations are awesome. It helps me to come into my normal state whenever I feel low. Thank you, Anushi. Much love to you. I'm so happy you're here. Vandana Alek, so good to see you. One Love, Alina, Tiffany Lanham, Natalie, hello from Canada, welcome. As an empath, I need this. Yes, sir, we do. Edgar says, hi, Geraldine, it's Edgar. Wonderful to see you live. I sent you many details. Oh, I can't see your message. And your email. Wonderful. I will check that out, Edgar. Thank you so much. I always ask when I'm making choices, what would someone who loves themselves do? That is such a great question. All right, my love. So let's get started. We're going to start by inhaling deeply. Finding a nice, comfortable place to start our work here. Breathing. And just sitting in that stillness for a moment, acquainting ourselves, acquainting the body, acquainting the cells with a moment of stillness, full body stillness from the toes, the muscles, the arms. And just notice as we sit still how the energy moves through the body, any sensations, vibrations, any resistance in the body. Feelings of tension in the body. And allowing your eyes to gently roll to the center of your forehead. Allowing the tongue to connect with the roof of your mouth. As we create a cycle of energy for all of this extra energy, hypertension, pain in the body to begin to kind of dissipate from the physical body as we come into stillness. And in this stillness, really beginning to connect with what the body is telling us. From the solar plexus, we're going to begin to connect down to the center of the earth, kind of like connecting that cord into the waist, the hips, the pelvic bone, all the way down to the center of the earth and anchoring into the earth and just feeling the life force of earth kind of run through the body. Breathing deeply. Going down into the hips. Very good. You're going to create your sphere around the body. Go ahead and visualize your protective sphere around the body. Becoming aware of our space and sealing any openings in our energetic space. A lot of you have been working on maintaining your bubble throughout your day. So just checking in, have any openings been difficult to close? And we're going to intentionally close them, making sure that we're completely sealed inside of this sphere. Breathing deeply. We're going to start by working on the root chakra. Go ahead and close that root chakra. Close the sacral. Close the solar. Center core. Going to go up to the heart. Open the heart. front and back of the body. Breathing deeply. Going up to the throat, opening the throat chakra, front and back. Going up to the third eye, opening the third eye, front and back. Breathing. Breathing into those spaces. Going into the crown, activating the crown. Activating the eighth chakra. Setting the intention that all our actions, body, mind, and soul, are in alignment with our highest expression. Allowing ourselves to intentionally co-create with our thoughts, with our words, with our actions in this meditation and moving forward. Okay. So you're going to take your attention down to the solar plexus, breathing deeply. And kind of beginning to observe your day. Okay. Noticing any parts of today in which we have struggled. Take a look at that. Any experiences today where you have struggled, felt frustration, felt resistance? Go ahead and take a look at those. As you begin to observe your day, noticing yourself in your experiences as you watch yourself. I want you to tune in to those feelings of struggle, of frustration, of resistance. Just noticing, how does it feel? Why do we feel that way? What are the things that trigger those feelings of resistance and struggle? And as you begin to observe how much a lot of this struggle is a result of a profound, deep to need to control, observe yourself in these interactions. Is control one of the things that we try to embody? What are we trying to control? Notice that resistance in the body as you begin to connect with those emotions, how the abdomen tenses up, the lower back. Some of you, it might be the arms, the chest, the head, the throat. Wherever it is that you're storing this kind of resistance, this need to control in the body, this is the parts of the body that are taking the strongest hit energetically and physically. These are the parts that become weakened. Wherever it is, just tune into that part of the body. This is most likely where we have a lot of issues in the body. And I want you to tune into that control, that feeling of need to control, how strong, how your entire body kind of responds to that resistance, tenses up. And I want you to feel that feeling and just gently allow yourself to surrender to that emotion for a moment. As you begin to observe, kind of like moving through your day, going through all of the different scenarios, interactions, feelings, events, you begin to notice how you can bring yourself from that resistance, that need to control, into a state of neutrality, into a state of just watching what's happening. More important, releasing any tension that is in the body as a result of that anxiety, that frustration, that stress. Teaching your body that it's okay to release any of that resistance next time that we feel this kind of trigger. Breathing deeply. Just noticing how that control either helps us or hinders us. Take a look at that. Just noticing, let's check in with what is it that we can control? Is it possible for us to control the other? Perhaps we attempt to manipulate somehow by enforcing our beliefs or changing the way we do things. Beginning to notice any tension in the body and breathing through that tension with every emotion that arises in the body, releasing it, bringing it back to a state of neutrality as you observe your day. Just walking yourself through the process of coming back to that 0 point, that moment of non judgment, and noticing how judgment plays such a powerful role in our want to control, in our desire to control. What is behind this desire? What is behind this? Is it fear? Is it anger? What's being suppressed? Take a look at that. How does it make us feel to always feel helpless, or to feel disempowered, or to feel that we have to be in resistance, stress, anxiety at all times? Notice that. And gently releasing all of the tension in the body that wants to resist, even acknowledging this. Notice how the big body becomes softer, more subtle. This is you changing your vibration to allow energy to flow through your meridians. So knowing that we are the only ones that we can control. What do we need in order to feel safe? All of that anger that we feel in the body, that resentment or fears towards the self or other, notice it. Notice where you are holding the majority of those emotions. Do those emotions direct more towards yourself or towards others as you begin to observe this? Where is it all going? All that focus of energy. How is it affecting you? Go ahead and focus on the root chakra, on the solar plexus. And I want you to take your attention to the back of your solar plexus in the mid back. And I want you to begin to tap into the information there. This will help you go deeper into the deeper layers of these emotions. So go ahead and tune in to the information that's there in the back of the body as you begin to open up all of those programs around fear, around the suppression of anger, around shame, around emotions. Were we taught that it wasn't safe to feel, to do, to be? Notice that. All of the blockages that hinder our actions, how we present ourselves in the world, how we move around in the world. And do we agree with those beliefs? Do those beliefs, are they congruent with the way that we see ourselves and the world and who we want to be, who we want to become? Take a look at that. I want you to see before you in a crowd all of the people that have triggered these emotions within us throughout our entire life. Go ahead and see them since the womb until now. All of the people that have triggered these belief systems, limiting beliefs around being, doing, saying. See them in front of you in a crowd. And as you observe them, I want you to notice, what do these people have in common as you watch them? What do they have in common? Notice their suffering. Notice their belief systems. How do those belief systems hinder them in their lives? How are we repeating those same patterns in ours? Maybe differently, but actually quite similar in terms of the emotions that we're embodying, the cycles, the patterns, the limiting of our manifestations, of our expression. Notice that. Notice how we are a mirror to that behavior. What would it take to change your resonance? As you observe these people, I want you to define, what do they need in order to no longer feel that way about their lives, about themselves? What do they need? What do they need from themselves? Notice that. And I want you to give them that. And it doesn't come from you, it comes from source, it comes from the infinite. So go ahead and channel from source, from the infinite, providing all of these people that have these beliefs pretty deeply ingrained. We are a mirror. They are our fragments, really. We're going to inform ourselves how to reach the opposite of that expression. Allow them to feel it, to know it, to be it, as they begin to absorb into their center core all of these new belief systems around the self. Notice how they begin to expand, how they feel more joyful, how they're able to smile, feel more loose in the body. Notice how the frequency begins to change. And you're going to see them merging into one. Go ahead and visualize a cord connecting them to the body. Okay. And in the body, you're going to notice the parts of your body that are deeply still programmed with these limiting beliefs. Go ahead and scan the body from the crown of the head down to the base of the feet. What parts of our body are still ingrained with that belief system, the limiting beliefs of what we can't do, what we can't be, what we can't say? Go ahead and scan the body. It'll be very clear because the body will become tense in those parts of the body. It'll feel like resistance. So go ahead and focus on those and take it from the resistance, releasing. And as you do, go ahead and visualize eliminating from your body those cords. And I want you to see what it looks like when you pull it out of your body as you begin to eliminate that. Notice that it's connected to very multiple organisms, multiple sections in the body: the heart, the root, the sacral, the solar, front, back, the arms. And maybe some of you are tuning into your multidimensional body. So go ahead and pull it out of that, because we are an organism that is far greater than the physical. So allow yourself to pull it out of your body, sending it all into a vortex of light that connects to source as we introduce these parts of us, these unconscious parts of us, into consciousness, allowing them to leave our space. Breathing deeply. Excellent. Okay, now that we have cut cords, I want you to visualize breathing back your life force into your body, calling forth your life force since childhood, all of the energy that was depleted in trying to control other people's expectations, emotions, fears, anxieties, trying to control our own emotions, all of that anger that arises from those experiences, feelings of helplessness. I want you to eliminate all of that from yourself, all of that from them. Okay, because they are you and you are them. And you're going to see all of your fragments now in a bubble on, you can imagine it on the left side of your body. All of your fragments. Okay. Now we're going to provide them the healing. Notice yourselves, all the many selves of you that are in this current timeline today, yesterday, all the days before that, and in other timelines that are reliving this program of limitation, of separation. What is it that we've become separate from? Source, the self. So allow yourself to identify that the connection to the self, the embodiment of that source, is actually where the empowerment of this organism lies. And allow those selves to recognize that within themselves. Go ahead and see that. Breathing deeply. And as each part of us begins to recognize that, it's almost as if they are looking down, they look up. It's no longer hunching down or hiding or fearful or stuck. They begin to feel more expansive, more aware of themselves. They begin to choose consciously, manifest within their lives. Very good. We're going to let go of our ancestors out of our space now. Our fragments, our ancestors, all of those beings and selves that have triggered that suffering throughout our lives. Go ahead and let them leave your space. And you're going to work on yourselves here. Allow them to merge into one now that they're healing. And I want you to see this self now, this integrated self. Do they feel disempowered in their everyday life? Take a look at that. What are the new belief systems that have been created that can help support a feeling of safety, security, connection to the self in their everyday actions? Notice that. How does changing that career or moving to a new place feel now as you begin to check in with yourself? having eliminated from the body all of those emotions that are lingering from the past, memories of unworthiness, memories of helplessness, memories of anger, frustration. Noticing how much of your life force was depleted through these experiences, but got you nowhere. Take a look at that. Look at how slow and stagnant your vibration had become, and changing that now. Eliminate it from the body, feeling more expansive. Go ahead and see your fragments, and you're going to take it back into your body, all this beautiful healing into your body as you inhale deeply, integrating 7 body in, 7 bodies out, all charges down to 0, negative, infinite, allowing the body to feel fully integrated in this new expansive understanding of yourself and all that is possible. Now being able to understand this infinite possibilities that are available to us, around us, in us, through us, as the creators of all things. And I want you to sit for a moment in this new feeling as you become familiar with this feeling of neutrality, of love, of connection, of empowerment. This place in which no longer lives the fear, the limiting doubts. You're going to go up to your crown chakra, and I want you to spin your crown chakra as fast as possible, eliminating all the debris that is blocking our ability to manifest. Any final little fears, anxieties, doubts that might be reflecting from the lower first chakras that are still there, go ahead and visualize eliminating all of those blockages out. The entire body will become improved as a result of this awareness, because not only are you activating your DNA, but when you become aware of something, your entire cellular system responds to that. It provides health. Awareness is not just a psychological or mental thing, it's very much a chemical, biological thing. And the entire body, the entire organism is actually becoming awake. So as you breathe deeply, as you allow yourself to enjoy this moment, which feels more free, more liberated, allow yourself to start working with the root chakra and open that root chakra. Go ahead and eliminate from the root, from the first layer of the body, any anger that might be stored within there, feelings of helplessness, any counter creative belief systems that make us feel disempowered in the root chakra. Go ahead and eliminate that out. And some of you might find some pretty heavy ancestral stuff lingering in the chakras. If you see it, just gently let it out. Okay. And as you're observing the information that you're releasing, just take what you're seeing. You're probably going to see visions. You're going to see some of your ancestors going through difficult times. All of these storylines are just meant to be observed and taking the information, but not getting identified with those things. The moment you get identified, you're bringing that into your space, and it begins to pollute the healing that you're doing now, because you're going back to the stagnant thought form instead of being in a state of observation, neutral observation without judgment. Okay? So go ahead and visualize releasing from the root all of those programs. The first layer. Yep. Clearing all of that out. Going up to the sacral chakra now. The sacral. Beginning to spin that as fast as possible as you open it back up, eliminating all of the limiting beliefs that we feel helpless and disempowered in our relationships, in our sexual expression, in our ability to manifest, to create, to become creative, to create art or businesses or a lifestyle that is conducive of this expression. Clear all of that out. Any anger and frustration, resentment towards the self, let all of that go. You're going to open your solar plexus back up. Go ahead and spin it as fast as possible. Go ahead and eliminate any fears of emotions or disempowerment around the emotions, feeling emotions, acknowledging emotions. Go ahead and clear all of that out. Any heaviness, stagnation, front and back of the chakra. I'm going to go up to the heart chakra now, closing the heart chakra just a little bit back into a balanced state, spinning it as fast as possible, eliminating any kind of anger, resentment, fears, any kind of limiting beliefs that make us feel disempowered in our ability to love unconditionally, to be loved unconditionally, to accept the self, to feel worthy. Go ahead and clear all of those programs. Where do we feel disempowered to love ourselves unconditionally? Letting all of that heaviness go, knowing that there is no struggle. It's just a state of accepting and being. Going up to the throat chakra, closing the throat chakra just a little bit, spinning it as fast as possible, eliminating all of the programs of anger that might be suppressed in the throat, of expression, feelings of being helpless because we feel we cannot speak our truth. We can't ask for our needs to be met. Clear all of that out of the throat chakra. Going up to the third eye now, the intuition, spinning it as fast as possible, gently closing just a little. We want that one to be as active as possible so that we're connecting to the higher realms. So go ahead and visualize eliminating any kind of anger, any kind of helplessness that we feel in regards to our intuitive connection, our connections to the higher realms, to the higher dimensional planes, anywhere where we mistrust our intuitive communication. Let all of that go. Breathing deeply. Breathing deeply. You are light. We are light. Going up now into the crown, into the seventh and eighth chakra, beginning to spin those chakras and removing any kind of blockage around feelings of not being able to manifest, any helplessness, feeling that we're incapable of achieving abundance, the limitations of the matrix, the limitations of the physical. Okay. If we believe, where are our beliefs limiting us in manifestation? And this can be anything between abundance, money, health, relationships, our careers, the work that we do, and our purpose. Most important, our purpose. Clearing out any limitations that hinder our ability to embody our purpose, our highest purpose. See that now. Clearing that out. Going up to the ninth dimension now. This is going up into the levels where we are detached from the physical body. We are traveling in dream state, in our lucid dreams, going into the ninth dimensional plane. So go ahead and release all of the programs that we have, any mind control, any implants, etheric implants that are within the ninth dimensional plane of the body that limit our ability to travel, to become awake on the highest level, any fears that we have around becoming conscious, either in the physical or in the non-physical. Go ahead and eliminate all of those suppressed emotions, angers towards the self. The anger towards the self is one of the most destructive emotions that really affects the non-physical body and then the physical as well. So go ahead and visualize eliminating from the ninth dimensional plane all of those blockages that we have around our dream state. Fears, helplessness in the dream state, feeling that we are disempowered, that we cannot become lucid in that state, conscious. Let all of that go. Going up to the 10th dimension, spinning it as fast as possible, eliminating all of the limitations that we have around accessing the Akashic records, our infinite records of information within the holographic DNA system and the holographic DNA system of the planet Earth and the multiverse. Where do we feel unworthy? And a lot of times this is going to bring up past live contractual agreements that we have done that limit our ability, misuse of energy. Any of you magicians or light workers in past lives that have misused that energy in any way or doubted it or rejected it, a lot of times we have limitations here in the higher dimensional 10th dimension. So go ahead and visualize removing that block so that we can clearly channel what we need in this life, in all lives that we're living simultaneously, in order to embody our highest expression. Go ahead and see that. Okay. And noticing around the 11th dimensional layer if we feel that we need to clean anything up. Go up to the 12th now. Now we're going up to the angelic levels or the levels of the higher consciousness. Okay, the higher self. Go ahead and tune in. Where are we still resentful, angry, doubtful, feeling helpless in connecting with our higher self? Where do we still not see ourselves as light? This was our practice yesterday, seeing yourself as the divine. Clear that out of the 11th dimension, 12th dimension. Clear it out. We're going to go up to the 13th dimension now as we connect up to source. And these are really, really old programs. This is where the reason that we came into this earth incarnating in the physical lies. So taking a look at all the contractual agreements that we made in karmic contracts in order to experience what we experience in this life. Go ahead and release all of those contractual agreements around feelings of helplessness as a human in hypnosis, being sleeping, not becoming aware on the highest dimensional plane. Go ahead and clear all of those programs, all of those contracts out. And above you is a powerful white light of source, and I want you to connect up into that white light. This is who you are. You are pure infinite consciousness. You are unconditional love. You are all and nothing at the same time. As you connect up into that source, go ahead and bring that white light down into your body and anchor it into the center core of the earth. As you begin to broaden that knowledge, that wisdom, that light, anchor it, bring it wide around your body. The awareness of every cell in this body, every dimensional plane becomes awakened, becomes aware. Very good. Excellent. Now that you're fully connected, I want you to open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room. And as you begin to open, you begin to become aware of yourself and the non-physical. Now that you practice in meditation, merging and becoming aware of yourself on all these dimensional planes, it'll be easy to carry that throughout your day. So I invite you to do this meditation in the morning and at night, clearing out your space from everything that we've programmed daily and bringing us back into a state of neutrality. So thank you so much for working with me today. I want to thank you for joining me and all of you beautiful people doing this work. You guys are just incredible. Welcome, Jay Atkinson. Thank you so much. Yes, very good. Let's see what I'm. That's how I got to my ninth. Excellent. Good job, JP official. Sorry, I can't, it's all blurry down there because I have something there. Thank you so much. It's so good to connect to you. All last him, good to see you. Last T Sen. Not sure how to say that. Anyway, um, thank you for being here. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And actually, I do have one question from someone that asked yesterday in regards to the meditation that I would love to answer. Let me just find that. If you would kindly be patient. Let me take a look. Wow, you guys put so many comments. Thank you so much for your comments and for sharing with me how these meditations are helping you, because they help me build more meditations, help me create more that is in alignment with what's going on. We are very much connected. You and I are one. So whatever we're experiencing, we are really doing it collectively. Awesome. I saw your message, Catherine Woodford. Thank you so much for that. I'm so proud of you being able to overcome that. That's amazing. Um, who was it that left a message? Oh, okay. So Lauren says, hi, Geraldine, your meditations are awesome. Thank you for continuing on this journey. I have some trauma around entities attaching themselves to my field and left me with the fear of my energy field and emotions visualization. This is so powerful when combined with feeling, but I'm afraid to feel the energy running. I figure it will get easier and less scary the more I do it. So that's a really interesting question. Sometimes we experience spiritual trauma when we're doing our meditation, when we're tuning in and tapping into things in the unknown, right? So remember that everything that we experience in this human body is a fractal, it's self-similar from the highest dimensional plane to the physical plane. And the lesson is always the same for the human. How do we go from separation into unity? And you're going to see that being manifested in everything, in their careers, in the relationships, in life choices, in the lineages that you came into, in the astral plane, when you're interacting with ETs or entities or anything else. It's the same thing. How do we come back to love? And what we need to train ourselves in the physical body is feeling comfortable with the unknown. And that's why sometimes, when we're activating our intuition to a place where it becomes overwhelming. The amount of information that we can process and access is infinite. It is infinite. When I say that, it's not just a saying. And so that means that we're going to encounter many things. We're going to encounter entities in our space. We're going to encounter uh, ETs, extraterrestrial, interdimensional beings, angels, all kinds of beings from many dimensional planes. And my suggestion to those of you that are traveling and traversing those planes is to always remember that everything is a reflection of yourself. It's an extension of yourself. It's a fragment of yourself that is being presented to you for the purpose and opportunity of transmutation. Anywhere that we feel fearful of the unknown, because some of you are here for such a long time, you guys are operating on a high level, much like how I've experienced in the past few years, connecting with higher level beings in which discernment really had to play a role. And it becomes trickier and trickier the more awake you become, because you have to make choices. And the choices can sometimes be pretty fuzzy if we are not in alignment with our highest expression and we're coming from ego. The ego is very, it's very selfish, it's very destructive, and it wants things for itself. So we always have to notice that our goal, which would be more constructive for the self, is whatever is best for the whole, not just the individual. So when you're interacting with these entities, see it as a part of yourself. What does it need? What do you need? What are you feeling in that moment? Why is that feeling? What emotion is it triggering in you? Okay. And that emotion that it triggers in you, the fear, insecurity, doubt, helplessness, whatever the emotion is, work with that. understand it, and know it, because that is the repetitive pattern that's happening in other areas of your life, not just when you're encountering. And little by little, what this does is it allows us to reintegrate from seeing things as separate, and we begin to enter the higher levels of what this experience is. It's energy. It's energy. It's nothing but different vibrational frequencies oscillating at different rates with different manifestations. If you see things as light, the journey will become much easier. If you see your partners, relationships, family, friends, people that you dislike, if you see them as light, the journey will become easier. You will realize it's just exchanges. What are you doing? All that you can control is yourself. And everything that is manifested in your experience externally is created by yourself, the emotions and the fears, the lower and the higher. So as you work getting into the higher, your experiences will change, and what you find in your field will no longer trigger and affect the lower parts of us, which are heavily in survival mode. Okay. So that's something that I can share with you. Thank you so much. And let me see if you have any questions here. Love you so much, guys. I love you too. Jay Atkinson, Latsonin, thank you. Needed this after dealing with some difficult friends that I needed to cut cords with. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad it was timely. Mary Ellen, you're so gifted with communication skills. Thank you. I hope so. Thank you so much, Mary. Meta Mindset, who is the ultimate grantor of liberation? Well, if we understand that we are the creator of everything begins and ends with us, then we are the ones, and we are a fractal of an infinite organism that is the same. It is its own creator. Okay, so it's fractals within fractals, spheres with literally the universe looks like spheres. It looks like bubbles within bubbles, and it's infinite how this information is expressing itself. It is consciousness that is exploring through all of the fragments that you and I are. Okay, so that's why when we do healing work on ourselves, we are really truly affecting the collective. When you do healing, you change your collective, you affect your ancestral lineage, which is one organism, one vibrational thread connecting to the whole. So this is how we begin to affect infinitely the whole. From the persecutions we get that are not our unique individual selves, who is the ultimate grantor of liberation from the persecutions we get that are not our unique individual selves? Are not our unique individual selves. Let me clarify. Let me process this question so that I can answer it properly. So can you clarify that, Meta? I wonder if I did answer that with what I just explained. Because again, there really is no individual. Everything begins and ends with us, and we are creating everything. But again, it's cause and effect to the highest level. Okay. Cedric Orange says, I feel a release of blockages from left side and solar plexus. Organic Tomato says, hello, hey, how can we be sure it's not Geraldine opening our chakras and intuition and soaking our energies? Well, if you believe that something external to you will take your energy, then you will deplete your energy regardless of who you're looking at. So make sure that you're always aware that you are the one in charge of your life force. Jen Atkins says, yes, separation will become a thing of the past. This is what we're going for. And we're actually reaching that in such an incredible way that we're even talking about interdimensional contact now. We are really needing to merge the bridges between all of the illusion of separation. And that's what we're here to do. Organic Tomatoes, yes, the unknown. What if these meditations are actually opening up our soul for it to be took and manipulated? Well, once again, my dear P official. There is nothing outside of us. This is the separation that we're talking about. If we continue to see things as separation, we will always embody and experience separation. So that is your choice. You can. That's totally up to you. It's free will, right? But if you wish to not live in that fear, because that is an expression of fear and doubt, not just in others, but in yourself, because there's a doubt that you are capable of being sovereign and in control of your organism. So that right there is a counter creative thought form that might cause you more suffering than love and constructive in your life. So just take a look at that. Alina, thank you for all you do. Thank you so much for being here. Last Ixen, our bodies is the only reason we are not connected. Yes, or it could be the vessel to which we become connected and we affect more than just our organism, in fact, the collective, right? Thank you so much. These sessions make all of us more vulnerable to these attacks. Actually, only the mindset and the thought that comes from you makes you believe that you're vulnerable to anything. It's the same thing. If you believe that you're helpless, then you will be wide open. And of course, anything can siphon your life force because you're giving it away through that thought form. So just take a look at the questions that you're asking for yourself. Amari Bond, so true. They are pushing me to let go, me detach from myself, from anyone at the moment. Interesting. Very good. Jen Atkinson, unconditional love to you too. Let me see. And Okami said, is it safe to say that people have higher walls up as an indication of more traumas experienced by the soul, or is it irrelevant as every soul takes on trauma differently? I would say that trauma is taken the same from humans. And the reason why is because even though we have different perceptions, the human physical body has a biology, and that biology does have a limitation within itself. And when you take a look at the collective, we're cycling through repetitive traumas. And the repetitive traumas can have a million names. It can be fear, anxiety, torture, manipulation, mind control, what is the other one? Like abuse. Okay. It can have all these different names, but all of them are an expression of fear. And fear is the definition of separation. So ultimately, all that we're doing, all humans in the three physical, and why in the physical? Because the physical, you get to touch something, you get to feel something. Everything is done through the sensory body. The sensory body allows us to experience contrast, precisely contrast, duality. That duality is separation. That is what we are here to experience. So all humans are learning how to move from separation into unity in many different dimensional planes, many different levels, many different storylines, expressions, but it would be the same. And so, yes, some humans have more walls up potentially, but when you begin to deconstruct them, it comes down to the same basic, the human that wants love, the human inherently wants to feel love, it wants to be loved, it wants to embody love. And that love is, it already knows, it's encoded in its DNA that is the creative life force. So it becomes expressed then when it becomes healthy, when it's no longer seeing things as separate. It can now really run with it. It can create, it can grow, it can manifest, it can heal. All of the superpowers of the human come online the moment it embodies the unity rather than the separation. So this is a choice that is available to all through free will. That's kind of how we work through that. How does the reaper's job work, particularly in these great times of war? Meta, what does reapers mean? Reaper's job work. Are you talking about people that reap our energy? Can you clarify that? Latonadzine says, I feel the people I deal with in this third plane are a reflection of me, and I need to step outside of myself to see what they are reflecting. Yeah, yeah, that's okay. That's a technique that you can utilize. Another way to do it is to look at your emotions that they trigger in you and kind of walk through that. Okay. That requires an awareness of emotions. And what I advise and what I've been teaching throughout all of these series of meditation videos is an invitation to sit with every single emotion, every single one that you know, and become acquainted with your relationship with that, with your beliefs around those emotions. That will help you understand your understanding of those emotions. And then when you feel triggers come up and you feel those emotions, you begin to be like, oh, I understand why that emotion is coming up. Now I can begin to look at other perspectives, because your perspective is defined by your life experiences. So if you begin to broaden your perspective, you begin to see that there's other potential ways to look at those experiences. And now things begin to flow, change a little bit. Thank you. I've been here a long time. Yes, higher levels, beautiful teaching and meditations. Thank you so much. Well, I can see my enemies as light, and this is something beyond my skills. Okay. Takes time. But first, most importantly, we have to see ourselves as light, right? Don't worry about others. It's the self that we have to understand. We're light, we're energy, we're frequency, whatever, however you would like to define it, because all of those are potentially true. We are multidimensional beings. So if we can see ourselves in all these multidimensional expressions, it will be easier to see others later as that as well. But first, you need to know it in you. You need to see it and know it in you. My brother was in a foxhole in Vietnam during a firefight and did not look towards God or Jesus for life, but his own will to survive. Wow, amazing. But then again, are we not? Are we not God? Are we God? Are we an extension of God? Maybe. Let's take a look at this. Gabriel Liam says, going through my travels as I've been doing the meditations of your lives. Thank you again for taking me the time out of your day to do this. It helps me for sure. Thank you, Gabriel. I'm so happy to hear that. Hi, Geraldine. Vlad says, hi, Geraldine. Thank you for taking the time to provide guidance and teaching, helping us understand who we are. Thank you for being here and for your light and for doing the work. It brings me it's a joy that I cannot express to you. I really feel so much love and gratitude for your soul that wants to do that work, that searches that, because I know I've been there, and it is a beautiful evolution that we're doing for the collective. It goes beyond us. So thank you for that. Edgar says, hi, Geraldine. It's Edgar in Connecticut. You have shared such powerhouse knowledge. Thank you. Thank you so much. Remember, it's a dream you made real with your power consciousness. You are mind and body. That's right. That's right. Thank you, guys. I love you. Always value this time that I share with you because it's connecting with my family, with my tribe. I love you guys, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.